They ran out of ideas for fresh new shows, so Hollywood did the only thing it knows. Murphy Brown, Melrose Place, Gilmore Girls lost in space. That's so Ravens what they're craving.
I know that's a show worth saving.
I vote X-Files for a comeback.
Your company's still a real snack.
Would the Golden Girls be darker if we resurrect B. Arthur? Reboot it, renew it, reshoot it, redo it, and
All right, welcome in. New episode of the Captain and Madden Show, coming at you live here, Friday, the 10th of April, in the year 2026. Mike Madden on my side of things, the Captain Michael Corby on his side. Captain, how are you, and how's your April so far?
Unexpectedly cold. Like, what happened?
Yeah. Oh no, they decided not to. They canceled spring.
Oh, okay.
They gave it a 1-week trial, and they were like, not for us.
I must have missed that email.
Or either that, or like the whole Midwest is getting it all at one. They're getting the whole. They're getting spring and summer together. Warmest temperatures in history.
It's like 120 in Arizona, and it's.
Yeah.
I'm waking up to frost in the morning on my windshield.
Yeah. That's the reality of it. But yes, we did this. This is coming out. This episode comes out normal time. We're not giving you any early access or anything after our April Fool's joke of an episode. I hope the listeners got that. I hope that wasn't just amusing to you and I.
Well, if they didn't get it, I did, and it was kind of funny. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes, you know what? Sometimes you do a record for the fans, and then you do one for yourself. That episode was one for us.
That's right. Yeah, that's our acoustic album. That's our Zootopia. That's for you YouTube fans.
that was our Nebraska. I hope you liked it.
I hope you liked it. Yes. But we're back on track this week with a topic that we'll get to shortly. But first, I feel like we're going to be taking shots at the at the provider who helps us get this podcast up and running and is the source of many of our streams. Good old Spotify. And
sometimes you got to bite the hand that sort of feeds you.
Yeah,
I don't think they're really feeding us, but
no, they're not. Believe me, they could be feeding us a lot more. I'm feeding them more than they're feeding me. But recently, they introduced a feature on their app and on their desktop version, which is DJ Up Next. And yeah, I think you said that there might have been another feature. I haven't played with it, but DJ Up Next is the source of my vitriol and it's like a head scratcher right now to me. It's a way for your playlists, all of them together, to be kind of in a shuffle mode. So not just shuffling one playlist at a time, which may be genre or decade specific. This is basically saying like, hey, we figured out a way to AI a DJ's voice who intros. Of course, he's great because he mentions my name.
Yes.
And his usual intro is like, hey, Mike, here's some songs you've been listening to in the year 2026. And then we'll play 5 songs and then move on to another little topic that he wants to pepper in there, and then throw in songs that I don't even like or make no sense. So I don't think he knows me that well. Or if he does, him and I are not on the same page right now.
I think the biggest problem with the Spotify DJ feature is that they look at the artist that you're playing and not the songs that you're playing.
Yeah.
So I could listen to let's just say I'm trying to listen to a slow jam, or I want to chill out. It's the morning. So I put on like, I don't know. Let's just say Goose. All
Okay.
right.
All right. Right.
So then they're gonna play me every jam band
Yeah.
that's associated that tour, and it's just like not every jam band has like a chill, like it's just like it goes from that to like like a chilled version song that like Goose does to like Bounce Around the Room by Fish, and I'm like, I'm not in a Bounce Around the Room by Fish mood.
Right.
Like I'm looking for something kind of like chill out to, and that's my my biggest gripe, other than like, which I'll let you rip into the voice and stuff, but like that's the thing, is that they look at the bands, they're not looking at the songs, and they're looking at the genre, and it's just like sometimes it's just like, okay, yeah, I get it, like Jackson Browne and Bob Seger are both considered classic rock, but like I'm not putting Bob Seger and Jackson Browne together like on a mixed. It doesn't make sense.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. They would have to have something very, very, like there would have to be an interconnecting tissue. And in that case, I will think about that, not DJ Up Next. See, I think DJ Up Next is trying to be a little bit too cutesy. And I think he's trying to get inside, I think he's trying to figure me out, and he's got no idea. He's playing checkers. I'm playing 3D chess.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah, get that through your thick head, DJ Up Next. But I mean, if you go through a set, and I'll be honest, like even if I'm playing a playlist that I've made, and it might be like, as you said, like it might be like chill music for, for sitting around, or it might be like, here's a set of songs like, that I made for playing cards. Right? Something like that. But it's like, well, I don't want to really, like today, right now, in the moment, I don't know if I want to hear both those songs back to back. So I'm going to be skipping. What this feature is supposed to do, this is supposed to kind of like, based on algorithms, it's supposed to intuitively help you avoid skips. And they're curating all of this stuff. And it's like, you're not getting it right. And so today, I was driving around today, and he played for me, here's some songs that you most recently listened to, or that you've been really like enjoying recently. And like, one of the songs was Olivia Rodrigo, who I like. I'm not gonna get on DJ Up Next for that. But then he immediately goes to like, because I played Public Enemy like last week. Like I just had an anchor in to listen to Public Enemy, and he just plays like, Bring the Noise. And it's like, well, I'm not ready for that right now. We're not, this is jumping around too much. So he gets through, and I skip a couple songs, and he gets to his next set, and he's like, here's some songs you were listening to in 2024. And it's like, 2024 was 2 years ago. Like, I mean, and then it's like the songs I was listening in 2024, one song is an Oasis song that's been out for 20 years before that. And it's like, right, this guy's missing. So yes, I think there's too much of the algorithm at play, and it's too much of and I think I'm taking it out on DJ Up Next. I think I've got him in my crosshairs because he's the voice of it. And I don't know, you and I both mentioned when I brought his name up before we started recording, is he black? Is he
Italian?
Is he a light skinned, like a Puerto Rican guy? Like he doesn't have like a Spanish accent, or like he
sounds like he kind of sounds like a New Yorker.
Yeah.
Because he could be Italian. He could be So, Mike, I was listening to. I've been.
Here's the songs. Here's the songs.
You're getting down with the Will Smith. So we're gonna play some.
Right. Yeah.
It really, what the algorithm kind of does, and having that DJ feature, it punishes people for having eclectic taste.
Yeah. Eclectic taste in music is really what they're trying to break you of.
Because it's like, okay, so if every once in a while, like, all right, we'll say Sabrina Carpenter, right?
Mm-hmm. We could.
You throw a song of hers on. Now, Sabrina Carpenter gets like 1 billion fucking streams, so of course they're gonna like latch onto that.
Yeah.
And then they're gonna play me like 5 other artists that get the same amount of and it's like, I don't like Chaperone. I don't like, if I really wanted to listen to her, I'd make my own Chaperone fucking playlist.
Right. Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
It's okay I say fuck, right?
Yeah, the fuck's fine on this show.
Okay. All right. So that's
we're airing grievances, so we have to say fuck.
Yeah. The planet of hate is unleashing its death ray at the poor DJ.
DJ up next. But it's funny that you brought up Sabrina Carpenter, because I was driving home from Brooklyn on Sunday night after Easter, and I left him on, and he did play it was like, here's some hits that are hot on Spotify right now. And he did play he played House Tour by Sabrina Carpenter, which I like that song. That's a fun song. Then he played Where Is My Husband by Ray. I don't know if you know this song.
I know the artist. I'm not really familiar with
the song. I think it's on an album that she just put out. But that's a banger. And I'm like, okay, he's figured it out. He's really like gotten to me. Then he completely torpedoes it with some like electronic, like indie rock, like drone fucking track that I'm sure it's getting a lot of plays on Spotify for one reason or another. But it's like, man, like if he just kept the tempo high in the time, and like ride the tide, as you said, listen to the music and not the artists, and we might be onto something. But he completely like sideswiped it. The third song in was like this sort of like twee bummer of a electronic song with a lot of like, you know, kind of like whiny introductory lyrics, and I was like, all right, we're skipping him, and I'm going back to a regular playlist. So
yeah, there's another feature that's on there that's that's got some problems too. It's an AI generated, and it has like a theme on the out, like I decided to pick if my life was a movie, this would be your soundtrack.
Oh boy.
Not only did they, like, none of these songs would never be a soundtrack of my life.
Yeah.
Like, the second song in was the theme to, I forget what Bond movie, like the one that Adele did.
Oh, Skyfall?
Yeah, like the second song in was Skyfall. It's like, wait a minute.
Do they think you're James Bond?
Yeah, I'm like, why would the theme to like my movie be James Bond? Like, you're picking a theme to another movie as a theme, like, as in the soundtrack of my life. Like,
yeah, it's a little.
There was a lot of like, basically it was every artist was probably from 2024 on, besides Adele.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I don't know whose life this is, but I'm gonna guess it's probably a 16 or 17-year-old girl.
Yeah.
And it sure hell shit wasn't my life. Wow. But it's like, you go in and you hit the, it'll generate. Like, you pick whatever. There's different topics. There's like, songs that I want to hear, like, get me going in the morning, blah, blah, blah. And then you click on it, and then it asks you to generate the playlist. And it says, oh, we'll let you know when the playlist is done. It takes like, I don't know, like 10 or 15 minutes for them. And I've done 2 of them, and neither one of them were like, I asked for like, for some reason I was in a mood for like, I guess like trippy music. Like, I don't know if you've ever listened to like the Les Claypool and Sean Lennon Delirium group. No. I was looking for music like that, like experimental, but like rock or whatever. Wow. No.
It didn't work out for you.
No, it did not. No. Okay. And I wind up just deleting the playlist. But,
wow.
Yeah, there's I'm sure AI can do a lot of good things, but we're not close to it. Picking a good playlist for I think either one of you.
Yeah. Either one of us.
I or
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
One of us.
Yeah, they're letting us down.
I think the only thing the DJ thing would be worse would be if it was in the voice of Tony Danza.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wow.
Samantha.
Here's a song you might like. Oh, crap.
By the way,
Oh,
you're in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Why don't you stop by Ray's Pizza?
Yeah, seriously. Very interesting. You'll have to show me that feature off air, how to create the soundtrack of my life. I would love to do that. And then again, report back with my findings next week and rip it apart.
Hope you get something better than album tracks off a Chaperone, Skyfall by Adele.
Yeah.
What was some of the other? Just look up like the best new artists for the past like 2 or 3 years, like the Grammys, like the I think one
SZA.
of their I like. Yeah, I think it was like, and it's not even the good SZA song.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah.
What the hell is this shit?
Tate McRae. Anyway, well, that's it on until next week. That's it on DJ Up Next. I'll spend the weekend. I physically yelled at him the other day too. I was like, "You don't know me."
If you'd like to give somebody some shit,
yeah.
You know who's a big fan of DJ Up Next? Maureen. She plays it in the car.
Wow. All right. Your wife, former guest of the show. We can't really disparage her that much. But yeah. I'll pick her next time I talk to her. I'm remind me of that too. I'll pick her brain on it.
By the way, the voice. I still have a theory that whoever created that voice was the same person who worked for Transworld Entertainment.
Oh yeah,
and made the decision to put the urban voice on the urban playlist.
Yeah,
and keep the white guy off the the urban #1 and #2 CD in-store plays.
Yeah, exactly. It's very Jack. It gives me Jack FM vibes on the old DJ Up Next. He's cut from the same cloth. Jack FM. All right. Anyway, let's forge on to our topic. Our topic at hand. We're talking rebooted sitcoms and some TV shows, but primarily, like, as we all know, creativity is a commodity in this day and age, especially television, and the problem that we've run into, I think, in the last, you could say 20 years, you could say 15 years, a lot of it is, well, let's go back to something that was successful before and let's try to recreate that magic. A series ran for 5 years or for 10 years or for 12 years, whatever it is, and we're just so tied to it that we can't quit them necessarily, even though, like, the perception is that the output of that show diminished year after year after year, and they diluted themselves to a point where they ran out of gas. But a network or a streaming platform or wherever these live have basically taken upon themselves to say, no, we can still wring a little bit of juice out of this, or we'll reset it in a different city or with a new new casts or kids or whatever it is. So we'll go. I'll introduce a bunch of these television shows, and obviously we'll pick them apart. We'll see which ones we might have enjoyed a little bit, and some that are pretty much head scratchers as to, like, why is this the case. But in general, before I even start talking about this, what's your vibes? What's your feeling about reboots? For them, against them, don't care, share.
It's mixed results, right? I like the idea. I'm not totally against, like, taking an older TV series and updating it, make it more modern. I think I don't watch a lot of, like, channel 2, 4, or 7 kind of TV a lot.
The networks, right?
The networks. I'm more of a streaming type of guy, but I don't think it's a horrible idea when you take something like Hawaii Five-0, which was a big show before you and I were. I think it ran in the 70s.
Yeah, yeah.
So they basically kind of like redid this show. They kept like the character's name. I think Chris O'Donnell, it's the same character as from the original one, but it's got LL Cool J in it, and it's very similar to a lot of the other cop shows and stuff that are on, except it's based in Hawaii and it's kind of loosely based on the original TV series. Mm-hmm. I like that idea rather than let's bring the cast back from 15 years. So now the cute little kid is like in his late 20s or early 30s and is a man.
Yeah.
Or she's a young lady or whatever. But yet they're all still living at home with mom and dad. Like that.
Or we have to invent a reason why they have to go back to that house.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm very loosely against those types of reboots. Like, but I do like the idea of revivals, I guess.
Okay, that's a delineation. Yeah, a revival of something that was a property before modern times. I think that there's a goodness to that. I think that works better on television than it does for movies. And we're not going to be talking about movies per se here. But I agree with you. Like in the circumstances where they're like, hey, here's an old property that was from 40 years ago, and we're just going to do the modern version of it. And we're going to set it in the same, basically like, hey, it's an update. Like we're not leaning on the trope of, what exactly, we're not bringing back the old actors or making it specific to, what the previous version of this is. We're just doing a fresh version of it. I think that's smart in certain circumstances, especially if it's maybe a show that didn't get its just desserts and that got canceled too soon, that had like a cult following, maybe, where you're like, hey, I can take that property and I can make a new version of that because that deserved a little bit more. It was ahead of its time, or it just didn't hit the right audience. And nowadays you can really like aim that stuff to the right audience a lot more specifically through streamers or through shortened seasons. Instead of having to produce 22 episodes, you can get away with 8 or 16 or 13, whatever it is. So I think there's a little bit more of a kind of a focus when it comes to a redo of TV shows. So I agree with you there, and I think Hawaii Five-0 is a pretty excellent example of a show that they certainly did right by and became almost as popular as the original version. But the reboots are really they're the albatross of a lot of the industry. More recently, like I said, this is something that has happened over the years. I will specifically point out that they tried to do follow-ups to the Brady Bunch like 7 million ways because they were like, hey, it does well in syndication. It was, I guess it was only on for like 4 or 5 years, which is crazy. That's the type of show that probably would have ran for like 12 seasons nowadays. But they specifically in 1990, ABC itself had the Brady Bunch in the 70s. That was on the ABC lineup. In 1990, CBS decided they wanted to get into the Brady business. So they launched a follow-up quasi-reboot called The Bradys, which was, it took like that cute family concept, and they were like, what are we going to do that's going to make this more dramatic and relatable to a modern audience? Here are some of the storylines that they threw in here. So they made it like a comedy / drama. So when they were having dramatic parts of the show, it was, they would tackle these topics. there was a car accident. Bobby Brady was a car driver, a race car driver, and he
I do
was
remember that.
paralyzed from the waist down. There was divorce, not the Brady, the sisters, I think, or Peter was getting divorced. Jan Brady and her husband adopted an Asian baby. Greg Brady was thinking about career changes. Marsha Brady was a stay-at-home mom who had a serious issue with alcohol. Mike Brady was running for local politics. So all of that, and then there would be the lighter points, and at some point, a bunch of them did move back into the house with Mike and Carol Brady, because you do have to center everything on the same place where they spend all their life. But then when they weren't having these super hyper dramatic, like every episode that I read the recaps on and remember seeing some of them, but like when they wanted to make you laugh, they had a laugh track. So it was like, this is serious schizophrenia that's going on.
Did they ever play it at the inopportune time, like as Bobby's crashing his drag racing car and it's like flipping over like 5 or 6 times? Was the audience?
Yeah.
Did they hit the laugh track?
They hit the laugh track. They played that like that bing bong 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 bong, like that Brady thought music that was in the old sitcom. It lasted 6 episodes. This thing was off television within a month because they realized, and I think they had like good ratings for like, the reason the network went along with this is that they had like good ratings for, like they had a very Brady Christmas, and they had like, and everything was like, hey, we can do this. Like the network really got behind it. CBS, like it was a mid-season replacement for some other shows, and itself lasted 6 episodes. So this was a flash in the pan, but it was really like one of the predecessors. A lot of times if they were going to do a reboot, they would do whatever the original show was, they would make a movie of it. Like the Incredible Hulk, they did an Incredible Hulk TV movie. They did Alf TV movies in the 90s. So you're not necessarily, this was like kind of dipping a toe into, let's try to bring back the original cast, and let's make something of this, of this reboot, and make it modern and unique. And it was like each week something terrible was happening to people in that Brady family. So, also Cindy Brady was she was a morning DJ, much like our friend DJ Up Next.
Every time Jan took a shot from did they play the sad Brady bunch, like womp womp womp?
Yeah, exactly. No, it was Marsha who had the alcohol problem.
Marsha, I don't see Marsha as a drunk.
By the way, the actual actress who played Marsha did not come back for this because you know why?
She was an alcoholic.
She was in rehab. Yeah. So enjoy that for your nostalgia.
So the
purposes.
original Mary McCormick, right?
Maureen McCormick, yes.
Maureen McCormick, was such a shitty actress that she couldn't play a drunk, which was what she was in real life.
Yeah. That's irony for you, brother.
Oh, Marsha.
So, really, like the epicenter of this this revival or this reboot landscape is Netflix. Netflix loves to relaunch and reboot old shows. It's basically like that's underneath, like, hey, we do live sports now, and here's a million like mediocre comedy specials. It's like, what show do you want us to reboot? We'll get right on it. And the first one that they did, the first one they jumped into was Arrested Development. Now, you yourself have said that you didn't watch Arrested Development in its original run all that much, right?
I was spotty.
Okay,
I watched episodes here or there.
Right, but you've picked it up since, and you've watched
Yes.
the original series. Okay.
Yes, I did.
So those 3 seasons, incredible writing, great performances, ensemble cast for days, jokes, sight gags, everything. Really, it reset a lot of like modern sitcoms to be a certain way when it ran in the early 2000s. But terrible ratings.
I think the thing which now, because of that show, some of them have gone on to do but like the idea of like having Henry Winkler do the shit that he did on that show, or Liza Minnelli, or even the gentleman that played the father, Jeffrey Tambor, like to have him like the stuff that they made those actors do. You couldn't at sometimes like I'm really surprised like that they agreed to do this, like some of the gags, some of the sight stuff. But then like if you're watching it years later, like Winkler's kind of gone on to do some weird shit, and so is Jeffrey Tambor. So it's like, oh, like it's kind of acceptable. But if you bring it back to like
ground zero,
some of the actors, some of the characters, the actors that they brought on as like, you know, Winkler was the family lawyer, and he would be in an episode, but then you wouldn't see him for like 4 or 5 episodes, like, or somebody would just come in for like, you know, 2 or 3 episodes here or there, and it was just kind of like, I thought that was the cool part of the show. Yeah,
they tested the waters with people playing away from what their normal part would be. Yeah,
and my opinion is they flushed that right down the toilet with the Netflix season.
It was always the speculation. It was, what are we, you know, is Arrested Development going to pop up on another network? Is HBO going to pick it up? Are they going to do a movie? Are they going to, because it was always like and especially when it got to DVD, more and more people bought it on DVD, or it made it into like reruns on cable. So it was like, there's so many people that like found it after its original run that they were like, and this is the crazy part is that immediately the speculation is, well, why can't you reboot that? Why can't you figure out like a follow-up or so on and so forth? So finally Netflix buys the rights to Arrested Development from Fox. It's got it on Netflix streaming service. It's kind of when Netflix was really picking up steam as a at-home streaming service, having Arrested Development on there was a crowning achievement. And then they were like, well, let's talk to the cast, let's talk to the writers, producers, and let's figure out a way to make them do more episodes and new episodes. And you said you didn't like it. I still think that there are moments in that 4th season that are really like as good as the original run. Tobias is incredibly funny. Some of the stuff with George Michael, and then them trying to get the rights to have a movie about the Bluth family. Like, there are certain elements to that 4th season that really make me laugh, and I will occasionally like go back and like binge that full season. But then they decided to do another season after that, which was really like disjointed. All of these actors ended up being major stars elsewhere. They had other TV shows, they had other commitments with Hollywood, so on and so forth. And they ended up making another season that was, again, it was just sort of like cobbled together. They even admit that like it just wasn't really that focused. There's a little bit of like tension on set when they're recording and shooting episodes. So it really shows that like the air was out of the balloon by that point. But for what it's worth, I think there are moments in that 4th season that lend itself to it's worthwhile to like check it out, I think. And it's less disjointed than the 5th season ended up being. So that's how I feel about it. Yeah,
I mean, definitely a good point by you that when they started putting all these older TV shows, especially Netflix or any of the streaming services, but Netflix was key in the beginning. especially during pandemic when everybody had nothing to do.
Yeah.
My daughter started watching Friends.
Mm.
Like, people went back and watched TV shows that like were funny back in the day just because everybody was in this kind of like, well, I can't go outside, I can't do this, like I need something to cheer me up. So like all of a sudden, like what's the what was the one with the Deborah Messing where
Will and Grace.
Will and Grace, like all of a sudden was popular again, and people were making like there were memes of that stuff, and people were talking like, so like all these especially comedy sitcoms, people, and not just comedy. I mean, people did go back and watch like The Sopranos, and but especially the younger generation. Now that they had time on their hands, they went back, and obviously once somebody, whether it's Apple TV or Netflix or whoever it is, sees the amount of streams that are going through, hey, people seem to really be into this. Like, how do we monopolize on this? Obviously, Sopranos, you can't really do much about it because Gandolfini passed. I think they tried as hard as they could for a Friends, and the best that they got was a one-off reunion.
Yeah,
show.
like a recap. Yeah, a reunion recap show. Right.
So, but some of them did, they did come back for another Will and Grace. There were a few others along the way that that kind of came back, and some of them probably shouldn't have, but but that was the thing, was that it was people had the opportunity to go back. They had, there was a platform for it, and there was a means, and people had time on their hands to go back and start watching older stuff. And hey, when it's trendy, people are going to try to monopolize it as much as possible. So.
Well, I think that's the outcome of all of this, right? Like, that's why there's going to be there is Scrubs rebooted, because a bunch of people went back and started watching Scrubs again from the beginning. That's one that I'll particularly talk about now, because that one kind of like that gets me annoyed, because is it a funny show? Yes. The first incarnation of that show is very funny, and I wasn't a watcher when it was on originally. I was catching reruns after work or late at night on Comedy Central after the fact. That show ran for like 8 seasons, right? It was on NBC for 8 seasons, then got 1 season, I think it was 1 season on ABC, and then they split it into like Scrubs interns. So it not only does it get like moved to a new network, fresh coat of paint, same great characters. Now we're going to do an intern version of the show, and we're going to try to like sort of like backdoor pilot a new version of this and let the good times roll. And it failed spectacularly. That's the point where you should say, if you're ABC, guys, we're washing our hands of this. We're going to walk away. Scrubs had a good run. We still have syndication avenues. It's still going to be played a million times on late night TV or on Channel 5 or Channel 11, summer reruns or whatever it is. Like, you have that like living in your streaming worlds, whatever it is, and you're still going to make money off of it residually. But somebody probably told them, hey, my kid watched this during pandemic, or we went back and watched and saw how funny Scrubs was. And then 3 or 4 years later, they're like, let's run them out again. And let's put it on the network, and let's market the fuck out of this thing. Like, you're getting all the original like gusto of that cast, and you're getting this quirky show one more time. And it's like, why would you try to do that with something that petered out?
There is one element to it that is kind of, in a weird way, unique, is that Zach Braff and Donald Faison start doing those T-Mobile commercials. And I guess that was a success. So everybody was like, oh yeah, like JD and Turk are back together in commercials, and they're acting the same way, even though they're not calling each other by their character names. And that, I think, also is a reason why I think that was like the beginning of it, was the T-Mobile. The fact that Braff and Faison stayed friends together well after the show like ended.
Yeah.
And everybody on the show is within relative decent age that they could kind of bring it back. I mean, obviously Braff isn't like a new, like he's, if I guess in the reboot, he's not going to be a second year like doctor. He's going to be more seasoned, and they're probably going to have, everybody's going to move up like a stage. Like John C. McGinley's going to be the new Kelso. Like he's going to be the guy running the hospital.
But that's
like, and they're going to bring people in underneath that, like that the other people that were being picked on, now they're going to be the ones.
I know.
So, to me personally, it's not something that I'm gonna circle on my calendar to kind of watch, because I just think it's gonna be bad.
Oh, don't worry. I think the season finale is like next week or something like that. So it's already had its 8 episode, like, and that's the other thing is like you get like these 8 episodes. So they do all this marketing, they do all this hype for you to get into it, and then it's like it's got a 8-week run on ABC and on Hulu, and it's like you spent all that money getting these people back together, and to me, it just seems like you're doing a half-assed job now. Yeah, it's a money grab, and you're probably you're gonna get some people that say like, "Hey, this is a great reboot," and they really like captured the old vibe of the show. But then if it's successful, they have to do another season of it, and like, how much commitment are you getting? Like, I get it that those two have insane chemistry together. That's fun and fine, but you're mining the same territory. If you and I were doing this podcast, we have insane chemistry together, in case you don't know. We're doing this podcast, and then we decide, okay, we're going to take like 10 years off from it, and then come back, and it's like, well, let's do the episode of the reboots again. And it's like, you're talking about the same shit. You're not doing anything differently than what you did the last time, or when you were first very successful at this. So chemistry aside, it just seems like it is... You're spinning your wheels if you're trying to be creative in television by accepting that, like, okay, this is the best gig that I ever had on TV. I have to go back to it. That's a sad state of affairs, in my opinion, for these reboot actors.
Yeah, I mean,
and there's a laundry list of them too.
The latest one is now they're bringing Malcolm in the Middle back, and
right?
Like,
yeah.
Cranston, you have so much going on. Like,
he doesn't have to do that for shit.
My only thought is somebody else in that, like, maybe they're like, oh, if we're ever going to do this, we might as well do it now before Frankie Muniz goes into full CTE and he can't remember shit.
Right,
like, I don't like.
Yeah. But that's okay.
Does he need money for medical bills? And they all feel bad, and they're like, okay, well, let's do like. We'll do a 10 episode excuse me, reboot, and we'll see how it goes from there. I don't like that's I don't know the thought behind that.
That's the eternal question. It's like, all right, so Malcolm in the Middle, to me, all right, it was like, that was a cutesy, like, not a cutesy show, but it was sort of like, again, it's a quirky family dynamic comedy. It's very typical of Fox, where it's got like these sort of like sarcastic family members, and they're mean to each other, and they're, it was very like of the time, late 90s, early 2000s, like this sort of like chaotic, dysfunctional family that still stayed together and blah, blah, blah. And now you're going to reboot that. And it's like, from everything that I see from the commercials and the trailers, it's like, you're just shoehorning reasons to put them all like back in a room with each other. It's like, come on, spare me. I don't think that show was popular enough that it should get rebooted. I don't care, this, like, where is this uproar of Malcolm in the Middle fans? Like, I don't hear them in the universe, like, clamoring for it to come back.
Honestly, the only thing that was good about that show was that Cranston was on it, and then from there he goes and does Breaking Bad, and then he does all these movies that he's like really good in.
Well, he's Tim Watley in Seinfeld before that, but
I mean, they tried their damnedest to make Frankie Muniz into something, but I mean, the cat never grew. I mean,
but it wasn't like, all right. So that's I think what you said, like maybe he's the reason why they're coming back together is that he needs the money, or he sees this as a great way to make money. If you're relying on that, then buy the rights to your TV show and take the original show to a streamer and say, like, here, I'm going to sell you the reruns. Fox sold me all of the old rights to this. I'm gonna let you guys like re-show all of that, and I'll break a deal with you, and we'll make money privately. Don't bring Bryan Cranston crawling back into the middle of this nonsense thing. It's just, to me, it's just sort of like, it's very cash grabby, and it's very, it's a segment of the audience that was like, that was a great show, let's bring it back. And then everybody that's like, how cheap can we do this for? Okay, let's do it. Let's bring it back. Cranston's a megastar now. And now we've got a brand new way to do this. And it's like, you're forcing it. The other one, again, another Netflix abomination, Fuller House.
Yeah. This is a weird thing with Full House. Like, I will fully admit when I was a kid that I watched it.
Okay.
But
good.
even when I
kid.
watched it, when I was watching it as a kid, it was like, this is really corny and lame.
Uh-huh.
And the Joey character's not that funny.
For a comedian.
And why did they constantly kiss that baby? It's really fucking weird.
Yeah.
I when that whole revitalization or whatever you want to call it, of like, there was this yearning from somewhere for people like, I love Full House. I'm going to go see the Beach Boys because Uncle Jesse is playing in with the bongos and the Beach Boys.
Right. Yeah.
I've always had a hard time figuring that out.
Yeah.
It seemed like a halfway decent concept of like, okay, we're going to focus on all right, it's the three girls. Obviously even the Olsen twins were like, hey, look, we sold basically everything as kids. Like, we don't need money, and we ain't coming back for this shit.
We're fine.
feel by all means mention that, like, baby Michelle, who's now like 30 years old, and we're still going to refer to her as baby Michelle. Mm-hmm. She's in Switzerland somewhere.
Yeah, right.
Like, you could do that shit. Like,
make that up.
You can reference me, but I'm not going to be in this.
Nobody else can get out of San Francisco, by the way, in that whole fucking family. But she's the one that can go to Switzerland. All right, you got it, dude. But it's just
there was, if I may be massaging his pig,
please,
for one moment.
Oh, yeah.
There was one good reason to do the Fuller House. Well, two. Jodie Sweetin kind of got really hot as an adult.
Yeah, I mean, sure. I'm not gonna deny that. Like seeing like a grown-up version of those girls that you might have had a crush on when you were close to their age. Right. Yeah. No, I know. I listen, I think that's another element to like all of these. Is like, how much hotter did certain people get, and I want to see them on my television. Yeah, absolutely. Like, but the whole thing is, I mean, it's the same fucking house. It's the same fucking set.
It's the same fucking laugh track.
It's the same laugh track. Those are the same jokes, just told now. And it's like, ooh. And it lasted for 5 seasons on Netflix. 5 fucking years.
There was a time Netflix had to fill like a lot of shit, and
they don't have to fill. It's on demand. It's not a grid. It's not like, hey, we need something at 8:00 on a Monday. It's fucking on demand. You can watch whenever you feel like it. And they decided, like, all right, good idea. We'll do 5 seasons of this, and we'll figure out what these dingbats are like running themselves. And then, Uncle Jesse's back for 2 episodes, and whatever happened to his shitty fucking kids? Like, there's 2 twins, and they make up a fucking side story for those 2, and like, I just wanted to just get everybody in the backyard, and then just like. Do it Sim style
it so much that you watched all 5 seasons.
I didn't, but I did watch a couple episodes just to rage at it, and I was like, "Yep, this is the reason why I don't. This is something that I shouldn't open up." But yeah, just put them all in the backyard, and then do it Sim style. Lock the fences, and set a fire in the middle of it, and let them fight each other on the way out. Netflix, no, not Netflix, but Peacock gets into the business of it at the end of 2019. They do a Saved by the Bell reboot.
They should have never had a boot to begin with.
Here's
Saved by the Bell.
Here's where I'll give this one credit, because I did give this one a couple episodes. I think I watched like a good amount of the first season.
They made sure they killed Screech in real life, so that
that dude was dead like 2 months after this thing like debuted. He wasn't part of it. But they actually they acknowledged the fact that the first version, the original Saved by the Bell, was such a stupid thing. So they kind of had a sense of humor about it. So there was a little bit of it was a self-awareness, and there was like spoof elements to it. I mean, it was really still like, how can we shoehorn like Zach's like the governor of California, and of course he married Kelly Kapowski, and they have
Morris
kids.
Is still an asshole.
And his son's name is Mac, and it's like, but there was sort of like reverse bullying going on in the show, and like he didn't get away with everything by just like time out and smiling at the camera. Like, people were calling him out on that shit. So it was sort of like, okay, like I get this. Like, it's written from a kind of a smart point of view, but eventually, once it settled into itself, it just became, here's another trope filled. Let's stunt cast people in here. Let's market this thing like as a fresh new take on Saved by the Bell. And it's like, cute for a couple. Like, if you had done this as like 6 episodes, it would have been cute for that, but you're still relying too much on the characters from the old show while still introducing, dare I say, a new class. So they could have figured out a different way to do it, and it probably would have been better, but it was very much buoyed on the fact that you're going to see the old Bayside gang pop in and out of these episodes. Get ready for Jesse as like the guidance counselor.
Didn't they not to poo-poo on everything that you like, but didn't they do a really shitty Beverly Hills 90210?
Oh, they did, yeah. Too? Yeah.
So
yeah, exactly. That one they tried to make like Gossip Girl. They really like, so 90210 was soap opera teen soap opera to begin with, but then it became like this whole like,
yeah, it changed when Melrose Place got really popular, which was 90210 was the lead into Melrose.
Yeah.
And Melrose was for like the 20-somethings. 90210 changed. It got very much like everybody had a drug problem. Everybody was like banging their boss.
Right.
Like, it was very
it was real soapy.
Soap opera.
Yeah. It was real soapy. Have you caught any of the Frasier reboot on Paramount Plus?
I was never a big as much as I love Cheers. There was never a part of me that always was like, oh, I wonder what Frasier's like home life, or like what is
what adventures would Frasier get into?
I mean, I watched the original series. I watched like the first like season, and I thought the John Mulroney, the guy that played his father, I thought he was funny.
Yeah, right, because he was blue collar and.
Yeah, I mean, I still had a hard time figuring out how a guy who was like a blue collar like city cop spawned 2 like pretentious like uppity like people like Frasier and David Hyde Pierce, like the two sons, like that, like one of them. I know it probably would have been everybody lived. One of them had to be like the dad for that show to really like the fact that both of them were like always wearing suits and like talking about whatever, Spago's or whatever restaurant or whatever. Like, how uppity can you be living in Seattle anyway? But I guess you can. But,
yeah, you can.
Like, shouldn't like one of the like, all right, Frasier, it becomes a successful psychiatrist and moves to Boston. Shouldn't like the brother like be wearing like ripped jeans and like owns a coffee shop or something in Seattle? Like,
you wanted them to be
like,
opposites.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't work that way.
They didn't write it that
way.
And that's why they only got one season out of me.
So okay. So then they did reboot this. I think it was 2021. Frasier goes back to Boston and buys the building that his son Frederick lives in. Ugh. Frederick's a firefighter. He's blue collar.
Oh,
Frasier's Frasier.
Not a cop.
And now Frasier's going to be exactly. And Frasier's going to be teaching. He finally gets convinced to like teach at Harvard. Here's my question. And since you didn't see it, you'll be able to answer this based on my tone. Well, just based on this question. If he's going back to Boston, how come he didn't look up any of his friends from Cheers?
Because none of them wanted to do the show.
Not a single one of them agreed to be part of this. Paramount Plus gave it, I think it gave it 2 seasons or 3 seasons. It has not been. They keep saying like, "Hey, we're shopping it around. It's been canceled, but there's always a chance," and nobody has bid on it. I think there's a safeness to the odd couple, like the blue collar kid now with the dad who comes back, and of course they have to have like the birthday party, and then Lilith is there, and it's like I will say like I liked elements of the Frasier sitcom by itself because it was so different from Cheers, right? Like he just kind of like you put him in a different scenario. There's other people to play off of. He still has that sort of like high intensity neuroticism and that sort of like over intelligence to him. But if you're now this is the third time you're trying to put Frasier Crane into something and you're moving him back and forth like a chess piece. And it's like, maybe we didn't have to do this. I don't think the world was clamoring for, because you saw him for 7 seasons on Cheers. Then you had 10 seasons of goddamn Frasier. We've told the man's story. We do not need to do this anymore. And
they should have made it like a dramedy and like have it where Frasier has a really bad coke problem.
Yeah,
and he
falls off stages.
And he just yells at random people at restaurants.
Yeah. How about that?
By the way, Frasier, the sitcom, the original sitcom,
yes,
worst theme song in TV history.
Scrambled eggs. Yeah, I know it's a piece of shit.
Salad and scrambled eggs.
Yes, toss salad. That's what it is. Toss salad and scrambled eggs. Shoot yourself.
Let's have Frasier sing the theme song, and it make no sense. Only like people who like jazz will like this.
Yeah,
Cheers had the best fucking theme song ever.
I know. Right. You're absolutely right.
But the spinoff had the worst theme song ever.
I'm not going to dig deep into a lot of these other ones. We'll just sort of mention them in passing. There was the Year in the Life Gilmore Girls revival series.
Yeah.
AKA Let's Make Rory a Super Mess and Everybody Still Kisses Her Ass. There was Mad About You came back for a reboot season.
Really?
Take the most boring couple in New York and let's give them another run at it. And yes, they still lived in that same stupid apartment.
By the way, so NBC back in the day, if you're a TV watcher, was great at advertising for like a
must-see TV.
Must-see TV type shit. There was an episode where they made it out that like it was going to be the saddest, most dramatic Mad About You.
Oh.
And it was like Paul Reiser and Helen Hunt in the hallway, and they're crying and they're hugging each other and blah, blah, blah. So I like sporadically, because I think it was a 9:30 show. I think it was on.
Yeah.
Like I think
Post Seinfeld.
So post Seinfeld. Seinfeld was the lead in at 9. Yeah. So occasionally I watched this fucking episode. The whole episode was about like any other sitcom, they ruin it. They had a kid.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It was a baby. And the baby was like, they couldn't get it to sleep.
Oh, shit.
And it was crying. And Paul Reiser is trying to tell her, every time the baby cries, you can't go in there because then it's never going to get to sleep. And the whole point of them crying in the hallway was that she had like she couldn't, it hurt her to hear her baby cry. It was so fucking stupid. It was like,
did she shake the baby? Did she put the baby in a dryer?
No, I think the thing was that Paul Reiser was going into the room and doing his stand-up act for the baby, and that's why the baby was fucking crying.
Yeah, they're just trying to get baby tomatoes to throw at him.
And then they had the shitty brother who looked like every like 80s early 90s stand-up comic. Like,
with a giant forehead.
Yeah.
Did Richard Kind come over and scare the baby with his super giant face?
It was the brother. It was like, can we take Richard Jenny and Stephen Wright and morph them together, and we're gonna make him your brother? Like they found that guy. Yeah,
that guy is.
He was working in the mailroom in The Secret of My Success.
Yeah, he's Rocky Dennis with less bumpy face.
Speaking of shaking a baby. Any chance of a Family Ties reboot?
Oh, come on. All right. Wow.
Oh, you gotta mention the worst, like the one that I had so much high hopes for, that came crashing down.
What's that?
The Night Court.
That was. Thank you, Must See TV. You got another. You flushed another one down the drain.
You totally wasted. You found the cave that John Larroquette has been hiding in for the past like 20 years.
Yeah.
And convinced him to come back to television. And it's like, okay, let's totally rewrite Dan Fielding's character and make him.
Yes.
He's not the prosecutor. He's not the defense. He was defense.
Now he's a public defender. He's going to come back as a public defender. Right.
And let's make him like super sensitive.
Mm-hmm.
And he's trying to help the chick from Big Bang Theory, like be a judge. It was like,
and that's Harry's daughter, and it's
the whole point of Dan Fielding was that he was a womanizing sleazebag of a lawyer. Like, bring him back as that.
Yes,
that's what he won Emmys for.
Yeah, he was the sleaziest of the sleazebags. This is like, all right. So you mentioned before Hawaii 5-0, where they're like, oh, you really could have taken something that people kind of remember. They like the concept. It was an incredible ensemble cast. All they had to do was say, here's just an updated version of Night Court. Don't have any ties to anybody else that was part of the original cast, because goddamn it, 2/3 of them are dead anyway. Right. So the only guy who's still alive, like Roz is still alive, and Dan Fielding. Those are the only two that were still alive and capable of participating in the show. So you just wipe the slate clean. Don't make her the daughter of Harry Stone. You want to have her as the judge? Great. Completely new character. You can still call it Night Court. You could still have that old awesome theme song. You can do that, and you can make it with completely different people, and it will. And if the writing is there, and if the people who are nostalgic to watch that, if they get it, it's going to be successful. And all of a sudden, it's like, we did it. We remade a great sitcom like Night Court. But nope, there had to be tie-ins to everything. I think they tried hard. I just think it was too stuffed with original. Like the original stuff was still.
You. I don't think they tried enough. Okay. I think they just said, okay, let's have the absolute same set. The courtroom, his office, the hallway, everything. The fucking the little like luncheonette or diner that they all go to get coffee.
Like
they
would have remodeled that building.
Like, yeah, just build a brand new set.
I know.
Don't make it look like anything like the old TV show.
I know. I get it.
I mean, the only thing that was missing was like, how about she walk into the office and the autographed picture of Mel Torme be on the fucking on the bookcase?
Did you ever watch the episode where like her full name is revealed?
Yeah.
So she's Abby T. Stone. Her real first name is Abracadabra, because get it, Judge Stone was a magician. The T is for Torme. Yeah. Right. At that point, shoot me now or wait till later. Shoot me now. So with all of that being said, the homework that I gave you and the homework that I've given myself here, let's take a few shows and let's figure out a way to either retool them or reboot them for modern times, and let's get these right. Okay?
Okay.
What have you got for me?
So, not a network show, but it was a cable show that I really enjoyed as a kid that kind of went off the rails, and that was Tales from the Crypt. It was on HBO.
Okay. Right.
So, the early season, it ran for like 7 seasons, but
it was a long time.
I think it was on for like, technically it was on for like 12 years, but there were years in between.
Mm-hmm.
It started off very like Twilight Zone there was a really cool episode with Kelly Preston and the guy that was can't think, the old guy that's in National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Hey, go get my stogies.
Oh, okay. Yeah. He's got a name. I don't know what it is, but.
And then Tim Rossovich, who was in Top Gun and the Steve Martin, Daryl Hannah movie, whatever. Like, he's a pretty good-looking dude. He's pretty jacked up.
Okay.
The old man is dating Kelly Preston, and he wants to marry her.
Okay. All right.
But he doesn't want her to marry him just because he's rich. So he finds a doctor, he finds Tim Rossovich's character, and he starts transforming himself. So first he takes his face.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, the face is great, but you still got the old man body. So then like he takes the torso and she's like, well, you're really ripped now and you're good looking, but you got those old man legs.
Yeah.
So then he goes in, he gets the legs. She's like, wow, you look great and you're energetic and stuff, but you still have the old man voice. So he uses the last of his money to get the operation to get his voice.
Right.
And lo and behold, Kelly Preston goes with the old man because she wants the money.
Oh,
so he spent all of his money to turn himself into something that she didn't want. Those are kind of the funny, like the ironic Darwinism, whatever. There were plenty of those type of episodes in the first couple of years. And then as the show the Crypt Keeper became like a cultural thing, like people like would just tune in for those segments or whatever.
Exactly.
And it kind of they got a little bit more, instead of like storytellers or filmmakers to come in and write and direct like an hour episode, they started getting people from like the horror genre.
Yes. Yeah.
And it started to get a little bit more gory, a little bit more, I would dare say when it was good, it was more like Creep Show rather than Twilight Zone-y type stuff. Okay. But there were other times where it was just like
slasher.
Oh, this is bullshit.
Yeah.
Okay. I would love to reboot that, modern up the Crypt Keeper character and his lair and all that other stuff.
Make him CGI.
No, but I'd still do it as like a puppet and stuff, but I would get somebody else to do the voice.
Oh,
I
no.
don't know.
John Kassir is going to be out of work.
He might be dead, dude. I don't know.
Still alive, by the way. Kassir still alive, and horror conventions book him as the number 2 guest.
He's still the kicker from First and 10 to me, so he could do a great Russian accent.
Yeah.
If I ever need somebody to do it. But there's, when you read Hollywood like articles, and it always comes up, especially during award seasons, that like, oh, there's no venues or whatever for young filmmakers and blah, blah. This would be totally up. Like, this would be a great idea for people who are trying to turn, people who are writers who want to get into the directing, or people that are actors that are trying to, like, here you go, man. Like, here's the format, write something, work with these people, direct an episode. Like,
I think it's a good,
the first, like you take that movie Get Out.
Right.
Like, all of a sudden people were like, oh my God, you can do horror like in an intelligent way. Like you can make a horror movie, but be
psychological
a good movie, good story.
Psychological over gore, jump scaring over chasing, whatever it may be. Like that's the modern take on it. What's interesting with a show like that is because it's serialized, right? It's not necessarily, you don't have to cast the same people in it. So it's like that can, and I think they've redone the Twilight Zone like a million times for different platforms. So that's the type of thing. Like, you're right. I think like doing a modern take on Tales from the Crypt, or title it something else and say based off of Tales from the Crypt. And you have a little bit of nostalgia. You have a tie back. You have the an updated version of the Crypt Keeper that gives you the intro to each segment, and you can certainly do that. I think that's a good idea, that's probably, again, like, it's a platform. It's easy. You have a ton of actors. You have a ton of like animators that could probably get involved with that stuff, or special effects artists that are that can work on a budget and come up with something that's cool for television or for streaming. I think that's a very good idea.
Thank you.
Okay.
What you got?
All right. My first one that I came up with, I love, and I've been recently going back and watching episodes of News Radio. It's incredible ensemble cast. We all know the players. We all know it was mishandled by our friends at NBC, who moved it around a bunch of time slots and never gave it the momentum that it deserved. Instead of Mad About You being on right after Seinfeld, News Radio should have stuck to that time frame, but I digress. I want to update News Radio for the modern era. I'm rebooting this show, and I'm calling it Podcast Studio. Here's the tie-in. The character of Joe Gorelli, as played by Joe Rogan, becomes, in the modern times, is a highly successful podcaster. And his old friend Jimmy James wants in on, he finally sold the last of his radio stations, and he's out of the terrestrial radio business, and he's looking for the new avenue, and he wants to figure out how to take Joe Gorelli's podcast and make a podcast network about it. So he hires a bunch of people, and maybe you can bring back some old characters. Maybe you can get Catherine Duke to do a show. You can certainly have a podcast, and they'll pit Matthew's character against the character that John Lovitz played in the last season, and have them like fighting each other, and an argument podcast goes on. And I think it's a tongue-in-cheek way to sort of like reboot it. And it would be, again, it's sort of like the modern take on what News Radio was, where it was sort of like you're spoofing, the 24-hour news cycle and the 24-hour radio presence, and now you're putting it in podcast form. And the Stephen Root's character of Jimmy James would be the perfect person who's like, y'all made a bunch of money in this, now I got to come in and make money in it, and it's going to be that would be an easy one that I would love to see happen.
I always thought I mean, I love news radio, but I always thought that once Hartman kind of.
Yeah, the last season was pretty like it, and nobody wanted to do that last, but they were committed to NBC to do it. They brought Lovitz in, who had previously been a character on the show, but not in that form. Yeah, the last season was terrible, and that was at the same time that Andy Dick was in and out of rehab, and he famously had these on-set fights with Lovitz, and it just at the end of their run, everybody was like, we don't want to do this anymore. The network wanted to keep it going. For some reason, they got like a bump in ratings after Phil Hartman died, probably just out of curiosity, and the network was like, you can do one more season. They were like, absolutely not. We're walking away from this. But the first 4 seasons it's some of the best, and a lot of those writers were coming off of Larry Sanders. They went to create a whole bunch of important sitcoms in the 2000s and a lot of important TV in the 2000s. So yeah, it doesn't get its due. Easily one of the greatest ensemble casts in sitcom history.
Yeah, can we do it without Andy Dick though?
I mean, yeah, there's ways to do it without him, but I think that it's also like, I think it would be chaos to have him and John Lovitz because they still hate each other. So if both of them are like, we're not doing this, but also if you could, even for one episode, get them on there and then just watch the sparks fly, I think that would be kind of funny.
So one that I was kind of thinking about, there's 2 versions of this one show, and I think we all know the reason why they had to change characters for a reason.
Okay.
I really enjoy the show Spin City.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So obviously, Michael J. Fox was like the press secretary for a gentleman who was the mayor of New York City,
right?
Who, at every turn, was either sticking his foot in his mouth or like doing something. And the whole premise is Michael J. Fox is running around trying to obviously spin it or whatever, or keep as much of the pressure off the mayor as possible. Also add into the fact that like the mayor's team had a bunch of bumbling characters.
Right. Oh, the aforementioned Richard Kind.
Yes. So here's my thought. Before I get into that, so obviously Michael J. Fox finds out that he's got Parkinson's.
Yeah.
He leaves the show. They kind of, I don't know how they cast Charlie Sheen in his character's role. They brought in Heather Locklear.
They retooled it to
and the show, I mean, Charlie Sheen wasn't bad. I think it was almost to the point where like, well, how are we going to make up for Michael J. Fox? Let's just keep bringing in more people.
Yeah.
And
right.
I think if they would have simplified it. So here's my thought.
Okay.
You reboot Spin City. Charlie Sheen is the mayor.
Oh, okay. All right. I see where you're going with this. And he's actually Charlie Sheen.
You can make him Charlie Sheen. You can, if Dylan O'Brien is his press secretary.
Who's Dylan O'Brien?
He was in The Internship. He's in that movie. He was kind of like a teen, kind of like a Nickelodeon type of guy, but now he was in the there's a movie that was right around the winter time where he's like a dickhead boss, and the plane crashes on an island, and now the roles are reversed, like the employee that he was always picking on.
Okay, like, yeah. Now I'm pulling up a picture of him. This dude was in Teen Wolf.
Oh, that I
the
didn't
TV
know
show.
Oh,
Yeah,
did
he's
they?
been he's a teen heartthrob guy. Anyway.
So now if you're modernizing, like, yeah, you still have to kind of deal with the press, but you're dealing with like social media.
Mm-hmm.
So you need people that kind of like, oh, like we're going to set this up for a really like an Instagram moment, or this is going to be a TikTok video. And of course, like Sheen kind of bumbles it or does something or, and Dylan O'Brien is the guy that's like running around trying to, you know, between the old school press and plus social media. I say, if you can bring back Richard Kind and Alan Ruck,
those are easy guys to get.
And the dude that played Carter.
Yeah.
You might have to, you're going to have to cast a new female. I don't, bringing Heather Locklear back with Dylan O'Brien is going to be like,
I don't believe that.
That's like a MILF or a grandma situation.
You bring in another
like
beauty.
A younger, attractive person that, there's whatever, there's
sexual chemistry
tension between the two of them.
Right.
And then you just kind of let Charlie Sheen be Charlie Sheen and just do what he does.
Yeah.
And I think the show would be a success.
Right. If you don't have to convince him that it's going to be a masterpiece, if he can just go and play, like, Charlie Sheen will be. I bet he would be up for it.
I mean, there's that documentary that he did and stuff. There's kind of like I think enough time has kind of gone by that like. I think people would embrace him coming back to television. Or even if you wanted to do it like on a streaming thing, you can. But I think it would play better. I think it would play better on network.
You think it's better as a network sitcom? Well, I got one that will be a network sitcom for sure. We're gonna reboot Happy Days, and I know that Happy Days ran for 10 seasons. Happy Days was too long to begin with.
Are you bringing back Ted McKinley? Because he's having a good run on Shrinking.
Yeah,
you don't want to ruin it.
No. But I'm moving. So the Happy Days was originally started in like 1950, mid 50s, at like in the time frame of the show it was the mid 50s to like the early 60s, right? I'm gonna push it up a little bit to the end of the 60s. I'm gonna call this version Hippie Days. I'm gonna recast. They're all gonna be playing the original characters, but I'm gonna have new actors playing the original characters. But all of them are, and I'm not sure if this is necessarily gonna be. I think it might be crossover into Wonder Years territory when it comes to a little bit of dramedy thrown in here. But I would certainly have like Fonzie's all about like free love, and he just make love not war. Fonzie's all about that stuff. He definitely like he's vibing with that. Richie and Ralph,
instead of him being instead of Fonzie being the Fonz, he's like more like the dude.
Yeah, he's gonna be more like a shaman type, like
wearing bathrobes,
like a Timothy Leary almost. Like Fonzie finds LSD, and gone are the leather jacket and the jeans are changed out for like a real Abby Hoffman vibe, where I'll have like curly hair and a jean jacket on. It'll be a different A. It'll be more like a A. That's what I'm thinking for the Fonzie type character. Richie and Ralph Malph come back from their stints in Vietnam. Of course, I think the original one, they were just going to the army, and now it's like, well, we were in the early 60s. The Vietnam War like broke out, and now they come back and they have like miserable PTSD, and they're just like they're shells of them. They've seen everything that they need to. The Cunninghams are going to be like kind of like pro-war, and they're like USA is the best, and basically like, Richie, you're a war hero, and he's like trembling and he's having real anxiety issues over this, and
Why don't you like Tom Cruise it up and he comes back in a wheelchair?
I think I want to put Ralph Malph in a wheelchair and Potsy has to like push him around. But they're still like going to Arnold's Diner primarily.
Potsy can't lose the golden voice. He's got to still sing it, Arnold. He's got to sing at the prom.
But he's more like a folk singer now, and he's leaning into the because he sees Fonzie's getting a lot of ass with the war protesting. So there's going to be a segment each episode where Potsy sings a song that's anti-war, and there's some, again, there's some friction within the family. Joni and Chachi have successfully gone and lived in Joni and Chachi land on their own, and they're touring, so they're not around as much. But it's a great way to like introduce new characters, let it run for another 10 years and let them get through like the Nixon era and maybe
you should bring back the brother Chuck, and he's like a conservative. Like,
yes. He loves Tricky Dick Nixon and keeps calling Cunningham, like Richie keeps calling Fonzie and then like dirty hippies. Yeah. Right. Well, no, the whole point of the family is like they think Richie is a war hero, and Richie's like, no, man, I saw shit in Vietnam, and like it changed me. So yeah, Hippie Days is the follow up to Happy Days.
You know, it would be a really good idea. You could call it Hip Hop Days,
and it's
an all black cast.
Oh yeah,
and they hang out at a Jack in Box.
Oh shit.
And you could put it on the BET network. It'd be awesome.
Wow. No, I'm going to write Hip Hop Days too. I'm going to write 2 sitcoms simultaneously. This one's in like the early 90s. So you have like Rap is Broken and it's like out in the mainstream. And you have like, some of the Fonz type character is really into gangster rap. And, maybe there's the Richies into more thought provoking. All right. I'm tackling too much at this point. Taking on too many, fighting too many battles.
A special episode of Hip Hop Days, a Popeyes opens up down the road,
right,
and gives Jack in Box a competition.
Oh man, okay, all right, Jesus, wow. It's not jumping the shark; it's getting your hoopty higher. Anyway, do you have any more, or is that have we spun the?
So I got one personal one that's not really so much. I don't know if you want to call it a reboot or a. There was a show that was on the IFC network called Benders.
Yeah.
Which was all about a group of guys that played in a rec league, a men's rec league hockey league.
Yes.
And basis of it was the absurdness of them, like they're in like the lower tier of the rec league. So that's like the whole thing is like they kind of all suck at hockey. The star of the 2 people who are like that went on to become stars from this is the comedians Tom Schultz, who on the show did not have a mustache, or Andrew Schultz.
Yeah.
Schultz.
Yes.
Tom Schultz is the guy that does your podcast.
Exactly.
He's also a star.
Yeah,
but he's just not a comedian.
That's the Off the Cuff Stuff Network star. Tom Schultz.
In the show, did not have the really bad mustache that he dons now.
Yes, that's true.
And the other one was Christy Stefano.
Right, another stand-up.
Another stand-up guy. It was hilarious. I don't even know if I want to get into the best episode was. So they had an Asian guy that played hockey with them, and he wasn't like it wasn't like he had like he talked. He was just Asian guy. He starts dating a girl, an Asian woman who works at a massage therapist, and he thinks that they're dating, but it's he's confusing the fact that when he goes there and gets a happy ending that she. So there's one point he's like, why is it every time that we go out, like it costs me a lot of money? And she's like, because I'm charging you for the hand jobs.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah, wow. Okay.
please look it up. You can find it on any. It's 8.
Yeah, it's on a couple of streamers still.
I figured now with all this, like, everybody loves hockey now because of the Olympics, plus the show, the Heat show, whatever the hell that is.
Yeah.
Bring back like a raunchy,
heated rivalry,
really good heated rivalry. Something that rivals the Scorsese, like, the absurdness of they could, now they're in their 40s, they can play in a 40-year-old like men's hockey league and complain that they're constantly like pulling muscles and blah blah blah. Like, it was a really good show. It should. What the hell else does IFC have to do? I have no idea why they didn't bring it back.
Well,
I guess they got to run like Spicoli fucking marathons or whatever they do on that. It's
cheaper to run movies than it is to produce and distribute your own sitcom.
Benders needs to come back to television.
All right. Well, you're a Benders guy. I remember it being, that was marketed very much as, here's the league on ice, or here's elements of It's Always Sunny, but they're a hockey team, right? I like the episodes that I saw.
Friends that play hockey, and they're all individually screwed up, and when they're together, it's just beautiful comedy.
I would greenlight that in a minute. Give that a second chance. Give that a reboot. You already have Tires on Netflix, but you can do this one too.
Yeah, Andrew Schultz isn't that busy.
Yeah, he's not that busy. Well, he's very busy.
Well, he could bang out an 8 episode seasons of playing hockey.
Remember where you came from, guy. Anyway, my last one, very similar to the concept that I had for News Radio becoming podcast studio. I am going to, and another incredible ensemble, despite one person being on the ensemble, but an incredible ensemble cast that you can easily do with any modern comic actors or comedian stand-ups, whatever, stage people. I'm thinking of redoing Taxi for the modern era. The name of the show is called Rideshare. And instead of going to the cab station and hanging out there and waiting for your shift to start or your pickups or whatever, they're all hanging out in a coffee shop, looking at their phones, chit-chatting amongst themselves, horror stories. All I'm getting today is Uber Eats pickups, and just have the camaraderie between the cast. Taxi, when Taxi went outside of its set, it tended to be, it was funnier in the set than it was outside of the set, in my opinion. Yes, you had to like have other elements and do other places, but I think like the stage that they were on in the cab stand was certainly something that was unique and sort of set the tempo for almost every episode. So that is my preface, is that my premises is to sort of get them. They don't all have to be rideshare drivers for the same service. You can have sort of competing, or guys that are picking up fares for two different, and they're switching the stickers all the time. Like, it's right for parody. It's right for comedy. It's probably something that you easily could have like written this 10 years ago or 15 years ago when like Uber and Lyft and all of those ride shares started to really pick up. But I think basically like I'm telling James Burrows specifically is to greenlight this and write a modern version of Taxi, call it Rideshare, and watch the money roll in. None of the original cast will be part of this because I think a good amount of them are dead, or no, they're not dead, but they're not young. They're all like in their 80s. Judd Hirsch isn't going out there to do this.
Kaufman's dead. Conway's dead. Christopher Lloyd's still alive.
Yeah, but he's in his 80s. DeVito's in his 80s. Mary Lou Henner's still kicking around.
I think she is.
Well, let's just update those.
DeVito's kicking around on.
I know.
what are we, season 18 of?
But you
Always
also
Sunny in
do,
Philadelphia?
see that's the big difference between Taxi and what would be this new is because everybody's independent of each other. They need to get along because they need to. They're sort of bonded with the common side hustle of hey, we're all rideshare drivers.
So many might know or might not know, but there was a time where I used to do Uber part-time, and that was always a thing, was like during the downtime or whatever, you would find a Quick Check or you'd find a Wawa, and like you kind of like would hang it like, all right, I'll use the bathroom, I'll get something to drink, and then you would run into other guys that like were either Uber or Lyft drivers or whatever, and you would kind of shoot the shit, and everybody would trade like, oh, the other night I had to, somebody puked in my fucking car, blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
Like, so it would work.
I think that could work great.
You definitely, I think the only difference would be is that I kind of agree with you that like when they weren't in the Taxi hub, I mean, I was never a big Kaufman guy like on the show, but DeVito was great.
Yeah.
Like, but I think whereas like when they would have those shots where like, Rieger's driving and he's got a fare in the back, like that could actually be some of the funnier moments because you're witnessing shit like that, like, the worst, man, I could probably write you, 6 or 7 episodes from all the horror stories I had.
It's in development stages. It's in development stages.
You definitely have to put that on either cable or streaming it.
Yeah, the language is going to be coarse. It should be. Everything should have
other things that happen in the backseat of an Uber.
Yeah.
You can't have that on channel. Yeah, channel 7.
I agree with you, but I think we've given it a good go here with rebooting shows that we would like to see have a second chance. Talking about some of the failures and some of the successes in this modern trend of reboots. It's never going to end. We didn't touch on kids shows or anything or cartoons because a lot of that stuff is just, either it's the same thing that they just, kind of, you got to put the toothpaste back in the tube, but we're we're satisfied with our recap of reboots.
The iCarly reboot was very, very sad.
Yeah,
very disappointing.
Oh, well, I'm sure. We can tackle that another time.
I had another idea for Hip Hop Days.
Oh, Hip Hop Days. Okay, go ahead.
Like Arnold's, you always had people performing in Arnold's.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Think of all the hip hop artists you could have come in and like
a parade of 90s hip hop artists and early late 80s, early 90s hip hop artists that would come in. LL Cool J and Snoop Dogg is not afraid to take a payday, and he does not mind being CGI'd to like make himself look a little less old. So yeah, that idiot would slide right in there.
I'm thinking like Snoop Dogg owns the little drive.
Oh, you're gonna make him restaurant. Al Del Vecchio? Snoop Del Vecchio? Yeah. He'd do it in a minute.
Snoop, can you give me some Pat Morita?
Yeah.
Can you give me Pat Morita vibes?
No. This is careening now. Also, who was that guy that the Asian guy that was on Mad TV and has a podcast now?
Oh,
Bobby something.
Bobby Che. He has like a very yeah. That dude's he hosts a podcast. He ain't doing it.
Well, you were putting Andrew Schultz back in Benders. I'm going to get this guy. He does stupid comedy movies. Is it Bobby Chow? I see his face and I want to slap it because I think he's just such an Asian stereotype, like come to life. And now he's he's a cool hippie guy. Like, fuck out of here.
Oh, and in real life, here's a shocker. He's apparently a really shitty driver and gets into a lot of car accidents.
Oh, okay. Well, he's perfect. He's Arnold in hip hop days. All right.
Bobby Lee.
That's what it is. Bobby Lee.
How do we not get that?
Wow.
Oh.
We're really torpedoing other podcasters right now. Joe Rogan gets a little bit of shrapnel. Bobby Lee, Andrew Schultz. All these people deserve to get back at it. Get back into sitcoms. Get out of the podcast game. This is for me and the captain. On that note.
Are you bringing Rogan back to your version of news radio?
Yeah, he's gonna be Joe Granelli. Like, you need him to be that. That's the tie back, is that he's leaving the Joe Rogan experience.
You gotta have an episode where he leaves to go host Fear Factor.
Yeah.
Because Johnny Knoxville doesn't want to do it anymore.
Of course, you're gonna do that. Yes, and 100 times yes. That will. Everything is. It's ripe for parody.
Me and you should run a fucking studio.
We should have run a network. All right. I do run this network, the Off the Cuff Stuff Network, and for this particular episode, we're gonna sign off now. So, he's the captain. I'm Mike Madden. We hope you guys have a great night, and we will catch you next time when we reboot this episode next week, and we talk about the reboots of this podcast. See ya.
Bye, Mike.
Repeat it, reinstate it, reheat it, recreate it. There's no need to feel frustrated, simply just regurgitate it for a